Hello everyone and welcome to another video. If you watched my Oni ranking video, you may remember this. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but lightning / electricity is always my favourite element, so I like static it a lot more than that. Heck, I even started a lightning attribute only run of Yokai Watch 1, and even recorded some of it, but decided to not upload it, and I even deleted them. I don't think I'll ever record gameplay videos. If enough people are interested, I'll post updates on my as community posts. I'm currently on the Master Faith chapter, and this is my team. I'm currently trying to befriend 4 Castellius IIIs to get Castellius I. Well, recently I decided to start live streaming and thought this would be a great thing to stream. Little did I know how big this series would become on my channel. The reason I started this was not only because lightning / electricity is my favourite element in media, but also because I wanted to replay Yokai Watch 1 again. You've seen tribe only challenges, heck even E rank only, but never any attribute only. Using only lightning attribute yokai means no restoration attribute yokai, thus no healers, and I have to rely solely on healing items. I'll quickly go over the rules before getting into it. Number 1, only lightning attribute yokai. It can't get simpler than that, except somehow people were confused by it, thinking that it meant only technique attackers. Any yokai with a lightning technique is allowed, whether they use it or not. Also, I'm allowed to befriend non-lightning attribute yokai, I just can't use them unless I'm at the start of the game. Number 2, until I have a full team of 6, if a lightning attribute yokai is available, I must befriend it. You won't see any of this one in the video, because as mentioned in the clip, I deleted the footage for the start of the run. Luckily, the team shown was the first 6 lightning attribute yokai available, plus fish pickable. Number 3, no Crankakai. I don't consider it cheating, but it's too RNG based for this, as well as the fact that yokai come at level 1, meaning I need to grind them up unless it was at the very start of the run, though I will use it if I have to as a last resort. Yokai Watch 1 is easy, you may be thinking. Why would you ever need cranky exclusives? Number 4, beat every boss. When replaying a Yokai Watch game, I usually consider it complete once I have beaten every boss. Number 5, chat nicknames for yokai. I'm bad at coming up with nicknames, so I decided to let them be the most popular nickname for the yokai in chat. Number 6, daily yokai are allowed. The only ones in this game are the Gemnyans, and I don't end up using Topanyan, so this rule more applies to Yokai Watch 2 and 3, which I recently completed, and will also be their own videos. One more thing, this is not a Nuzlocke. I'm terrible at normal Nuzlocks, let alone ones without healers. This is more here because a few people near the start got confused and thought it was for some reason, even though there was no indication that it was. With that out of the way, let's get into the run. Like I said, unfortunately I no longer have the footage of the first few chapters, but I will explain each yokai and when I got them. The first 3 chapters play out normally, as the first lightning attribute yokai isn't available until chapter 4. In chapter 4 I got Wanston from the tucked away lot in Blossom Heights. In chapter 5 with my new D rank watch, I unlocked the old mansion where I got Signable, Komajiro and Helmsman. I did the fusion quest and also got Armsman to get the A rank Reunite at chapter 5, who unsurprisingly carried a lot of the main story. Technically, Fish Pickle was also available in the underground waterway, but I was unable to find him for whatever reason, so I just moved on. He was also available in streams in Shopper's Row, but I was once again unsuccessful. I know I technically broke the rules here, but I thought it didn't matter as nothing really happens in the Walnut chapter, so I just waited till the next chapter. Another thing is that before I got a team of 6 lightning attribute yokai, I'd make sure to prioritize using my lightning attribute yokai in battle by putting them at the front, and making sure that my non-lightning attribute yokai were doing as little as possible. In chapter 7, I was able to get Dumbcap from trees in downtown and Chatley in the business tower. And that was a full team of 6. I also did the C rank quest and started the B rank quest. Went to the construction site at night and left it there. Until... no one watching, okay. Today we're doing lightning attribute only Yokai Watch 1. I already started this but didn't record it, so... and I'm live now, I've figured out how to live stream. The The reason I never did gameplay videos slash streams is because you can see my face in the reflection of my 3DS, and it was a pain to cover up every wee loading screen, which is why I deleted them, because I never thought I'd come back to it. Then one day, I realised if I turned the lights off, you can no longer see my face in the reflection. So I went to stream when YouTube said I had to wait 24 hours. So I tested this out by playing Mario 3D Land on the second channel, which somehow became the most viewed video on that channel. Then, for some reason, YouTube magically let me stream right after I finished recording that, so I hit go live. I wanted to get 4 Castellis III so I could fuse them and get Castellis I, but was unable to get even 1, let alone 4, so I decided to just wait till Castellis II was available, and decided to move on. It had been a while since I last played Yokai Watch 1, so I got a bit lost, but eventually got to the top where I decided to attempt to beat Massive Face. Turns out, even with Reunite, I was very underleveled and struggled against Tangloom for the B rank quest. So, needless to say, I needed to grind a bit more if I wanted to beat Massive Face. The rest of the stream I just grinded a wee bit, realised it was boring, and decided to just play some Blaster's Tea. This first stream was a total mess. I mean, to be fair, I hadn't streamed before and was just getting used to it. It started and stopped several times. If you decide to watch all the Yokai Watch 1 Lightning only streams, you could skip the first 2 if you want. Yeah, I forgot how many squid puns he makes. Oh, my 3DS is about to die. Oh, brilliant. Off stream I grinded a bit and finally beat Massive Face with the power of Ultimate Cancelling with Reunite. I should probably explain Ultimate Cancelling for those who don't know, as it's used a lot in this run. In Yokai Watch 1 and the Japanese versions of Yokai Watch 2, if you start charging a Ultimate right at the end of your Yokai's move, then immediately cancel it, they'll move again, and the timing is different for each attack slash move. Theoretically, you can make it so the bosses never attack, but I'm not good enough for that, so I try to do it when I can. Massive Face in particular ended up being more difficult due to his Earthquake attack, which is obviously the lightning attribute's weakness, but Reunite being Reunite carried us through the fight. Moving on to chapter 8, I did an epic speedrun skip. I want to see if this works. It's a speedrun skip. Yeah, you can just walk right past him. Isn't that cool? And beat Mad Mountain to get the B rank watch. I then went to Eddie's house. I always found it funny that like there's just a B rank watch log outside Eddie's house. Like, I mean, I know in the game it makes sense because like, oh, you need to be B rank in order to progress the story, but like in the actual world that wouldn't really make any sense. Like, imagine you just want to go to your friend's house, but then you need to like upgrade your watch or something to actually get in your friend's house. Then the museum, and returned there at nighttime, where I befriended several new yokai, Lava Lord, B3NK1, and 2 Castellis II to fuse and get Castellis I, which was a massive upgrade from having only 1 yokai above D rank. I kept Komajiro and Signable as they could evolve and I just liked them more. Contrarioni was also available here, but I didn't really want it for obvious reasons. I also encountered the rare Skelabella, who for some reason appears every time I replay this game. Me and my live chat decided to nickname Lava Lord to the more appropriate Zap Lord, as he's lightning for some reason. This then made me decide to give nicknames to all my yokai after the chapter was over. It was then time to fight Phantasmari, who I beat quite easily due to once again the power of ultimate cancelling, and also that I had more than 1 yokai above D rank. I finally unlock Mirapo and move on to chapter 9, where I stocked up on food at the festival and went to name my yokai. Here I just picked from the very few names in chat, but later settled on the nicknames that were said the most in chat. Komajiro was now Komabro, Signable now Nibbles, Reunite is now Orpheus, B3NK1 is now Boltbot, and Castelli I was now Nuclear with a 1, due to the explosive ultimate. I then returned to the school at night after stocking up on medicine to progress the story, and then... Can you guys hear that? My cat's meowing at my door. I got Ratel her rib and realised I hadn't equipped my yokai yet, so I did that, and then returned to Cupistol's sheet music. It was then time for my least favourite boss, Tarantutor. Yay! Luckily, his lightning attacks did less damage than usual to us. That and the power of ultimate cancelling, which I didn't even get to do all that much due to inspiriting, once again made this fight slightly less annoying than usual, but still an absolute pain. Once that was over and done with, I head to the roof and ended the chapter. I started chapter 10 by doing the A rank quest by defeating Ben K, Allhail, and Quaken, who were surprisingly easier than I thought. The hardest part was honestly finding them, as I got lost in the waterway for a bit. After upgrading my watch, I head to the abandoned tunnel to get a Gigahertz orb from Signaton so I could evolve Nibbles. I actually ended up putting Watson back on the team for this, due to his skill which makes foes drop more items. I had to save and reset it here, as once you beat this Signaton, you can't fight Signaton or get the Gigahertz orb until the Infinite Inferno in the post-game. Once I got the Gigahertz orb, I fused it with Nibbles and he evolved into Signaton, still called Nibbles. Once that was all over, I decided to actually progress the story by going to the school and talking to Mr. Barton, who definitely isn't a kitsune of any kind. Went straight back to Shoten Temple and found Draggy, who wants a sawtooth stag. This and the lack of quest arrows for the watch rank upgrade quests are the most confusing to a new player. I know there's an NPC who tells you where to get sawtooth stags, but I never even bothered talking to him on my first playthrough, and only really noticed him on subsequent playthroughs. Even still, the player doesn't know what a sawtooth stag looks like on their first playthrough, which is why it's probably my least favourite part of Yokai Watch 1's main story. On my repeat playthroughs, the sawtooth stag seems way less rare than it felt the first time, but that could just be because I know what it looks like now. Anyway, I got the sawtooth stag on like my second tree and gave it to Draggy, and headed to Nocturne Hospital and... Flippity flippers. Oh no. Well, at least it's Yokai Watch 1 terror time, at least this isn't Yokai Watch 2. Well, at least this is Yokai Watch 1 and I can head straight to the exit. One of my cats once again started meowing at my door, and the chat insisted that I let him in for a bit. But what's weird is my cat, like, I have a mini fridge in my room, and my cat just sometimes likes to try and get into it for some reason. I don't know why. Go pet the cat. Alright, fine. I'll go get the cat. Well, I'm not going to be able to see anything because it's so dark, but I'll let him in for a bit. Don't know if you guys can see him there. You see, this is my cat here. He's called Sharpie. Or his name's Sharp, but we call him Sharpie. Can't really see him that well, but yeah, he's here. I'll keep him for a little bit. Like the chat. What are you doing? Don't knock that over. Okay. Hi, Sharpie. Sharpie, local says hi to you. Yeah, he's just knocking over my stuff. Okay. Then I actually went to Nocturne Hospital and did Leidoni's examinations, talked to this not suspicious doctor, and started the Dr. Manaman fight. Manaman was harder than I thought it would be. I usually like to keep one heart so when he does blood refill, I can easily stun him. Problem, I stupidly failed to pop the hearts in time when he did it. Though to be fair... Did you see that? He just instantly... I've never seen that before. Okay, gonna heal Bolt Bot. I'm sorry, what the f was that? I also couldn't really use the power of ultimate cancelling due to constant in spirits. It ended up being closer than expected, but I did it. The cutscene that plays after this with McCracken, I find really cool, and didn't want to skip it, but then... Last time so... I always find it weird how it just sounds so different. Yeah, I forgot how many squid puns he makes. Oh, my 3DS is about to die. Oh, brilliant. Well, good thing we're ending the stream soon. Well, perfect timing. I was going to end the stream there anyway. I think that stream went pretty well for my second ever stream, and I really enjoyed it. It seems like you all enjoyed it as well, considering it's currently my most popular stream. Right. I didn't mean that. Okay, my thing fell. Alright, Little Snake it is. Give Venok the nickname Little Snake? Yes. Nope. Don't do that. Don't know what's happened there. I started off the next stream with the next chapter, Chapter 11, aka the final chapter. I started off by going to the abandoned tunnel to fight Duil, as I was going to fight him anyways, so I thought I'd just do it then. I severely underestimated Duil in this game, and I got destroyed by him. There's a reason I've only ever fought him in the post game. Anyway, I went to Mount Wildwood, entered the yokai world, and encountered our next yokai, Venot. I beat him pretty easily with the power of ultimate cancelling. Chat decided to name him Lil Snake, and I put him on the team, replacing Zap Lord. Gargos judged me for only doing 4 quests, 3 of which were the required watch rank quest, and the other was the fusion quest, and sent me down to Hungry Pass where I had to play hide and seek with Grub Snatch. Not Grub Snitch, Grub Snatch. It was really annoying, but after finding him a few times, I was able to exit Hungry Pass. I was then judged by Ogrelus and passed his honesty test, and Komabro finally evolved and became my main attacker, mainly due to the fact that Komiger is one of my favourite yokai, and my favourite yokai from Yokai Watch 1. That and the fact I found it easier to ultimate cancel with him compared to Orpheus. I was then judged by Okanos, who surprisingly let me through. Apparently I did 132 battles somehow. Actually, that makes more sense when you consider befriending, but still though. I then made it to the end of the yokai world and fought McCracken. I was definitely much better at ultimate cancelling with Komabro, though McCracken was still no pushover. He was actually pretty challenging and I actually ended up losing to him. Healing with items hasn't really been too much of a problem up to this point, though still more difficult than usual. But the item cooldown and limited healing items is really what makes this challenge so difficult. Luckily, I save before every boss, so if I do lose, I keep all the items I used. I thankfully managed to beat McCracken on my second try and headed to Uptown Springdale to rematch Slimander, and I forgot to stock up on healing items. So I reset. After buying some medicine and some fresh urchins, which I thought was the cheapest top tier food item at the time, I managed to beat Slimander pretty easily. I then beat Impasse, Roland and Bruff to reseal the remaining seals, and it was now time to beat McCracken 2, the final boss, known to be difficult. Didn't get to do too much ultimate cancelling here due to constant in spirits, but overall a fun fight that ended up being easier than I thought it would be. Come on. Let's go, we did it! Okay. Boom. Can you beat Yokai Watch 1 with only lightning action yokai? The answer is yes. Okay. And just like that, I'd beaten Yokai Watch 1 with only lightning attribute yokai. I decided to let the end cutscene play just because of how much I like it. It's honestly still the best Yokai Watch game ending in my opinion, and gets me every time I see it. I let the credits roll while talking to chat. The post-credits cutscene played, I saved, and ended off the stream there. Yokai Watch 1 is definitely my favourite game to replay, and I had a lot of fun beating the game without healers. If you're paying attention, you'd know I'm nowhere near done yet, as my plan was to beat all bosses. Miss, how are you supposed to know? Yeah, I'm giving up, Screw this fight. Now that I'm in the post-game, I thought it would be appropriate to start off by beating Duil. Usually I start off post-game by getting the S-rank watch, but I often completely forget about it, which is what happened here. I normally fight Duil at a much higher level, but it was nice having this boss actually be challenging at what I assume is the intended level. Still don't understand the Wisp gimmick, so I just attacked the head. It was an extremely close battle, only having 2 yokai left, but I managed to win. I changed my yokai's attitudes, and then someone in chat reminded me to do S-rank watch quest. So I went time some more and then head to the yokai world. Timidevil and Hungry Pass was no problem, but he did do quite a lot of damage. Impasse and Lion Mountain, however, made me use up all my healing items and I had to go and stock up on more. Apak and Hooligan Road ended up being pretty easy due to them being weak to lightning, though they did completely destroy Komabro almost immediately. I upgraded to S rank and bought some red snappers when the quest required for Chirpster. I got to the old mansion and started the first quest by making my way into this room and defeating the 3 yokai. After getting lost in the mansion for a bit, I eventually made it to this room for the next quest, which is what I need the red snappers for. The third quest is at the entrance, where you have to find 3 yokai. We got Blandon in the old mansion, Apak in Mount Wildwood, and Krunger in the underground waterway. Now for the final quest. You just talk to everyone and then you fight Chirpster. Chirpster was quite annoying with the healing, to the point where I gave up and leveled my yokai a bit using the Holy exporb exploit with the yokai cam, which I'll explain later. More importantly though, I discovered something. This a little bit. Hopefully it should be better. Already. Little box. Miss. Well, at least I didn't do anything. I'm just gonna let the yokai target on the one. I'm not gonna target anything specifically. Though actually, I might target Little Box because he does heal. You know what? Actually, Little Box heals. I just realized something. When he does the which will it be, if I pick Big Box, then that's the damage one, and Little Box is the healing one. Oh, I finally gotten it. Also, Little Snake is down. That's sad. I think that must be how it works. I'm a genius. I've only just figured this out. So I'm gonna pick Big Box, obviously, because I don't want him to heal. When Chirpster gets you to pick a box, Big Box will always deal damage, and Little Box will always heal. I felt really stupid that I had only just realised that. I managed to beat him with this newfound knowledge by switching to the back and always choosing Big Box. That was all I had planned for that stream, but we decided to do some rare yokai hunts, as well, otherwise it would have been a shorter stream, and I was planning on doing some anyway. I decided to go for Uncle Infinite, who's found on poles in Blossom Heights, on rainy nights. That rhymes. If I found him, I'd save beforehand just so I don't waste my marbled beef. I also managed to find a Yo Criminal, twice somehow. I unfortunately didn't manage to get him after a couple of tries, and decided to end the stream there. Before the next stream, I leveled up my yokai with the Holy exporb exploit to around level 69. I think now is a good time to explain what the Holy exporb exploit is, for those who don't know. The yokai cam is an often forgotten feature, where you take a picture of someone and it gives you a yokai based on that. Every day there will be a different challenge, such as Snap Jibanyan, Snap a Blue Yokai, or Snap Rare Yokai, and you will receive a reward for snapping the correct yokai. These challenges are always in a set order, and you can find this on the wiki. So you can change your 3DS system date to get specific yokai cam challenges. Don't worry, changing the 3DS system clock doesn't affect Yokai Watch 1, but it will affect your other Yokai Watch games, so keep that in mind. The one we want here is Snap Legendary Yokai, which rewards 5 Holy exporbs. Check your current Yokai Cam challenge, it'll be different for everyone. Check the list and change the 3DS date according to how many days you need to get Snap Legend Yokai. Once you're on the correct date, take a picture of this guy, and it should give you Elder Bloom, and if it doesn't, keep trying till it does. Once you've done that, exit the title screen, you don't need to open your save, and change the date 64 days ahead. Because there are 64 challenges, this should give you Snap Legendary Yokai again. Take a picture of the guy and move 64 days back, and should be able to snap a Legendary Yokai again. Keep on moving 64 days forward and backward and take a picture of this guy. When you go to the post office, you should get 5 Holy XP for each time you've done this. This is the fastest way to level up in Yokai Watch 1. There is an alternate method if you're on the Switch version or don't want to mess with the 3DS system clock, where you just grind on Bluminoko in the 7th circle of the Infinite Inferno, which gives around 1 Holy XP worth of XP each time you defeat him. So not as efficient, but still efficient enough to be an alternative. Orpheus is coming in clutch here. I need to heal him. Okay. He's blind. Of course he does the one attack that doesn't matter when he's blind. After I leveled up my yokai off stream, I was feeling ready to take on the Infinite Inferno, the main post-game area. I started off by going to a stone house and talking to the stones, to get the key to the Infinite Inferno. I headed to Prairie's Peak Tunnel and opened the Inferno, only to immediately leave, because I realised I needed to stock up on food items. I just want to quickly shout out Eevee Kid here for telling me that non-burgers are actually much cheaper than fresh urchins and still heal a ton. I've been using non-burgers ever since in all 3 games because I haven't found anything cheaper than those, so thank you Eevee Kid. After that, I went straight back to hell and made my way through the first circle and fought Hydra, which went about as well as any other Slimemander or Hydra fight. Relatively easy. After encountering Terror Time, I made it through the second circle to fight Hoggles, who's even easier. I'm assuming everyone knows this, but for those who don't, target his head when he lies down so he doesn't do his ultimate. Then I made it to the third circle to fight Styx Mark 6, who we completely destroyed due to him being weak to lightning. After unlocking the first shortcut, I made it through the fourth circle to fight Calypso, who has Earthquake, which we are weak to. I was getting flashbacks to that first stream. I switched to using my physical attackers due to the fact they have higher defense, and can tank these more. That's why you may have seen me switching to them when a boss is charging their ultimate. But Earthquake still did quite a lot of damage to them. I was legitimately struggling with this. Just like the first stream, my yokai kept dying, Calypso kept doing Earthquake, and even his other attacks were doing quite a lot of damage. Safe to say I was getting very frustrated, but eventually, after some ultimate cancelling, I managed to beat him. After eating some ice cream, I unlocked another shortcut and encountered Terror Time again. I got to the fifth circle to fight Dr. No-Gut, who was quite easy in contrast to Calypso. I did manage to blood refill with a bunch of hearts on screen, but I also managed to stun him. Spooklink was up next after making it through the sixth circle. Nothing too notable happened here, other than the fact my yokai kept doing the wrong moves, which made it take 4 cycles instead of the usual 1 or 2. And also Spooklink guarded, which I didn't know he could do. I looked at the shortcut to stock up on items after getting a ton of money from these bosses. After the final Terror Time, I got to the 7th circle to defeat Squisker. Squisker was easier than expected, but still pretty difficult, with all his consonant spirits and stuff, but I eventually beat him. Time for a wall walk in the 8th and final circle of the Infinite Inferno. Luckily, I built my team around having an even number of strength and spirit attackers to help with Wobblewalk's gimmick of being immune to 1 damage type. Wobblewalk, as expected, was definitely the hardest boss yet. He kept doing awful breath, so I couldn't do much ultimate cancelling. The attacks were doing quite a lot of damage as well, not to mention he was immune to half the team. He is lightning attribute, so his lightning attacks did basically nothing, but that also meant our lightning attacks were also doing less to him. Usually you get ages to cancel Pitch Bomber, but this time he somehow managed to do it. It didn't end up doing as much as you'd expect, though it still did do quite a bit. Eventually I beat him, and actually did so without using any mighty medicines. Although he was the hardest boss so far, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I got sent back to bed like it was all a dream, and once again decided to keep going with some rare yokai hunts. There are 3 yokai I wanted here: Static King, Zero, and Uncle Infinite. Chat wanted me to do Static King first, and after checking, you find him in the Infinite Inferno. Great. So straight back to hell I went. After being Hydra a second time in the same stream, I found a good place to reset for Static King, and got him on my second try, which didn't even take long. We decided on the name Byte, not only referencing the unit of storage in a computer, but also to go along with Nibbles, which just means a small byte. Though unfortunately, chat wanted Byte to replace Nibbles, so they were never on the same team together. We decided to go for Zero next, who, just like Uncle Infinite, only appears on rainy nights, so I had to sleep a lot until it was raining. Zero appears in tall grass near the school, so I started looking and Terror Time again. But the exit was right next to me, so it wasn't a huge deal. I did manage to find him a few times, but no luck in befriending him, and instead just decided to end it there. Where's the marbled beef? I think I saved after I... Okay, we need to get more marbled beef. I guess take an hamburger for now. Feel so stupid. I saved after we fought him, which obviously used up my marbled beef. Oh well. I also recommend Zeus last time. Yeah, Zeus is a good name. I like it. He's also found in that nighttime during the rain, so we wouldn't need to do really much. Jupiter could be cool. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that could work, I guess. Do again. Okay, well, that only took 5 minutes. Alright, I guess you didn't need the marbled beef. My only plans for this next stream was just for yokai hunting for Zero and Uncle Infinite, and I thought that would take up about a stream's worth of time, like 1 to 3 hours, as I had been unsuccessful in my previous attempts at these yokai. Boy was I wrong, because it only took 20 minutes for the both of them. I start off with Zero, who I got first try within the first 5 minutes of the stream, without even using marbled beef. Do it again. Okay, well, that only took 5 minutes. Alright, I guess you didn't need the marbled beef. So, what we calling him then? I decided on the name Zeus for obvious reasons, and replaced Boltbot. After getting some marbled beef, I went back to Breezy Hills hunt for Uncle Infinite. I realized I wrote Breezy Hills in this, okay. Ahem. I went back to Blossom Heights to hunt for Uncle Infinite. And I got him second try this stream, after not even 10 minutes of hunting him. Well, that's... What are we naming him? I forgot to ask you guys that. Chat decided on the name Beef Boss, which I thought was fitting, as he likes meat. Little did I know that it's actually a Fortnite character, as I'd only ever heard of the Mii, which was apparently also based on the Fortnite character, so yeah. Anyway, he replaced Nuclear as a new sort of tank. Chat insisted on getting rid of Coma Bro, but I didn't want to remove one of my favourite yokai just yet. Well, all that in 20 minutes. I didn't want to fight the Onis yet, because I wanted to do the Holy exporb exploit off stream, because it's boring to watch, so I just did some rare yokai hunts on my main file for the rest of the stream. But yeah, if you pick the team for the boss rush, would it be a bunch of Demi and Noko? Or would you want a bunch of Demi and Noko? I mean, if I have a bunch of Demi and Noko and people request that, then I would do it. Hey, a panel, still a panel, yeah. Can you please fight? Well, we're currently waiting for Gargoyle, so yeah. What's the meta for Ultra Sproink? I don't know. I don't even know if... I don't know if there's anyone that's done Ultra Sproink. I hope you want 6L1 Snaggly for a boss rush. I'm probably not gonna get like requests for levels. Because obviously you can just say level 1 and then... Oh, here it is, here we go. Do it for stream, yeah. I meant you can fight Snarl. Oh, he's not letting us through. Here we go, here's... I should have saved, shouldn't I? I'm sure we can beat him. I once again used the Holy exporb exploit off stream to get my yokai up to level 90 for beating the Onis. I was just going to encounter Terror Time through the Infinite Inferno and beat the Onis that way, but my chat was telling me you can't progress the Onis that way, so I just did it the boring way, waiting outside at night time. I'm not sure if that's true, so if anyone in the comments can tell me, that'd be great. I did also stock up on healing items and encounter Terror Time after around 10-15 minutes. Managed to beat Gargos was a little issue in around 5 minutes. He was definitely no pushover, but it was very far from what was to come. While waiting for Terror Time again, I came across another Yo Criminal. Why couldn't I find any for my Yo Criminals video? After around 15 more minutes, I encountered Terror Time, once again, with Ogrelus. I thought this would be easy as Ogrelus is Water, which is weak to lightning, but I unfortunately lost this first battle, which is a shame because I was so close to beating him. I really needed to level up my yokai up to 99, or at least closer to 99. So I just did the Holy exporb exploit mid-stream because I didn't want to grind Blue Noko, I didn't want to just end it there. I did this for a bit to get my yokai to level 93, 94, and waited for Terror Time again. After another 15 minutes, I encountered Ogrelus again. He was still extremely difficult, but I managed to beat him this time, with the extra levels on my yokai. Don't inspire him. Now's not the time for that. Hold on. Oh, there you go. I exited Terror Time and decided to end it there. I clearly needed full-on level 99 yokai for Volcanoes. I didn't want to do any more grinding on stream, especially considering we'd already been going for nearly 2 hours with just waiting for Terror Time and grinding, so I left it for next stream. Silverdall. What should be Ogrelus? Nah, it won't be Ogrelus. Yeah. Orca. Oh. Come on, Volcanoes. He's stuck. He is stuck. Wow. I'd once again grinded with the holy exporb exploit off stream to get all my yokai to level 99 for Arcanos. This was the final stream of if I beat Arcanos or not. If I couldn't beat Arcanos here, there's no chance I could beat him without using crank exclusives. I was determined to beat him with my current team. I mean, we had come so far, beating Gargos and Ogolos and literally every other boss in the game. I thought surely Arcanos can't be much harder, we're level 99 now. So I waited around 10-20 minutes and got Ogolos. Well, time to it again. Only for it to be Ogolos again. Alright then. Then I remembered that I can just go to the Infinite Inferno. Because my chat was right that being the only in the Infinite Inferno doesn't progress them, then that shouldn't matter for Arcanos since he's the last one. I managed to encounter him first try in the Inferno and there's really nothing I can do. Yeah, we're screwed. There's nothing we can do. We're losing this. Our car is on, yeah. Strat is pretty, oh no, you might be losing this one, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Got completely destroyed by him. Not to mention, we also weren't doing too much damage to him. There's no way in the Infinite Inferno that I was beating him. Quite literally. But I gave it another shot anyway, and, as expected, also got destroyed. The only chance I had was to use crank exclusives as a last resort. So I used my 3 cranks and got nothing useful. I just gave up there and said I would eventually return to it, and did some psychic blasters for the rest of that stream. I decided to move on from Lightning Only and do some other streams, until I decided to start Yokai Watch 2 Lightning Only. After I finished that, I took another break before starting Yokai Watch 3 Lightning Only, and whilst preparing for Yokai Watch 3 Lightning Only, I decided that now would be a good time to return, after a long break from Yokai Watch 1. So I got cranking with special coins I got from QR codes, since those have the highest chances for crank exclusives. I managed to get a bunch of golden yen in a row, and also Cruncher. I kept going until I eventually got all the crank exclusives to unlock Gilgaros. So, yep, that's right. The return of Yokai Watch 1 Lightning Attribute only. I've been using special coins. We now have Cruncher and Golden Yan, which we can use. And I wanted to film the summoning of Gilgaros here. Fun fact, I don't even have them on my main file, so... yeah, alright. There we go. Gilgaros. Well, there we go. Now that I have Cruncher, Golden Yan, and Gilgaros, I will be grinding them up to level 99. And hopefully, we'll try and beat Arcanos again at some point. Not sure when I'll do that, but maybe on Saturday or Sunday, I don't know. But yeah, there you go. We can also just name them all on stream and also decide who we're replacing. So yeah, there we go, Gilgaros. Something I haven't even done on my main file. So I got date changing, snapping, and grinding until all 3 of them were level 99. Gilgaros was still level 97, but still. And I was ready for a rematch. Arcanos. There we go. Orca. Okay, here we go again. This stream started off by naming these 3 new yokai. For Golden Yan, we decided on Terminator. For Cruncher, we decided on Big Bug. And Gilgaros was named Goldoni. It was unfortunately time to say goodbye to Orpheus, Zeus, and hesitantly Komaburo. After equipping these new yokai, I headed to the Inferno to encounter Arcanos. These new yokai were definitely an improvement, But even with some big bugs ultimate cancelling, unfortunately, they were not enough. I went to get more mighty medicines, but I didn't realise it was just one per real life day. I always thought it was just one per in-game day. I headed back to the Infernos to give Arcanos another shot, and I managed to get him down to half HP. Okay, this was definitely possible, I just needed better equipment. Someone in chat suggested using the Yokai Watch 1 special equip items, so that's what I did. I bought some sleep pillows from What to Find, which passively recover HP but make your yokai loaf more, which is perfect because Cruncher and Uncle Infinite's intimidation skill makes it so that no yokai will loaf. I also got a sticker of hate for Gilgros, which makes it so he draws all attacks to himself, but lowers his defense, which shouldn't matter as Gilgros already has a really high defense. I got a Heavenly Sash from the Abandoned Tunnel, which is basically a sleep pillow but without the loafing drawback. And I went to the Yokai World and got a Betrayed Blade to do the Zerberker quest, which gives Vampiric Fangs, which lets the yokai recover HP from attacking. I also entered some passwords for some more items. I headed back to the Inferno with my new equips and ready to take on Arcanos. It took me a wee bit, but I finally encountered Arcanos, and was ready to defeat him for real this time. The strategy here was melee ultimate cancel with Big Bug and keep on healing and reviving Goldoni, with a bit of Lil Snake at the start. This fight nearly lasted 20 whole minutes, and I didn't talk a single time throughout it, but eventually... Oh, we did it! I did not talk a single time throughout that fight. We did it. We did it. Finally, we did it. We have officially beaten Yokai Watch 1 with only lightning attribute yokai. Alright, let me get a drink of water. Oh, I did it. I flippin' did it. Let's go. Oh. The end of Yokai Watch 1 lightning attribute only. No get gleam, no. 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 Now let's enjoy our Terror Time rewards. Well, I'm not sure what the next stream will be, but there's no point in going for the rewards. I'm not coming back to this save. I'm not going to use them. Let's just get out of here. Oh. I do want to well, go on China. Yeah, I know I'm gonna do that. It's just I can't really. Can I? I can't. Sorry, I can. Never mind. I don't have an XP up there. Let's go. Also, didn't finish it, but I'm gonna quickly save. We can level gold only to 99. I can't believe you did it. You did it. You know, final boss in Boss Version 3. Well, I kind of did that. Where, like, the chat picked the team. But, nah. It'd be boring. Yeah, I beat 3 with only G. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that guy. Let's still call it 3, though. Not 1 and 2. Gonna get a large XPR. Done Yokai Watch 1, wind attribute only up to wall walk. That's how I haven't even tried only because I aren't kind of exclusive as well. Alright, let's do this. Didn't even need a large one. But who cares? I'm going back to the Inferno to save. Oh, I can't believe I've done this. I'm so happy. So happy. Expect this to be turned into a video at some point. Well, there we go. I think that is a good place to end it off here. I can't believe I did that. I had done it. What I thought was impossible. I had beaten Arcanos. We had come so far from just being another forgotten replaythrough that I decided to delete and abandon, getting an A rank really early on, losing to Massive Face initially, beating the game, discovering things about bosses, beating Wobble Walk, improving its ultimate cancelling, and finally beating Arcanos with these often forgotten equipment items. No, I'm not getting Gleam before you ask. Well, here it is, the video you've been asking for. I would appreciate feedback here, as this is the first time doing a video like this, and I fully intend on making Yokai Watch 2 and 3 Lightning only into a video. Shout out to my members, which you can see on screen now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Next time on Lightning Attribute Only. So, screw this, okay? Confuse them with Hideabout in this game. So I did all that for nothing. I am in this random haunted tunnel, and we're going to be surviving for 24 hours, and whoever lasts longest wins $10,000. Oh, I know, wait. Queen going crazy, got VTuber, Sackfold, Angel, and I'm doing Hazelina's parent goal, yeah. I get a usual kind of skill all or nothing. I thought it was a cutscene. When did I last save? Don't inspirit, do not inspirit. One more hit. One more hit. One more hit, no, no. Lightning, yes, one more hit. No, no! Don't miss it!